where the wind's blowing and the leaves they turn to gold, like they did with you those summers ago.
Hey everyone, it's Natalie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a sort of fall themed Q&A planned for you guys. I actually asked for questions over on my Instagram a few weeks back. It's taken me a little while to actually sit down and film this video, but I have been looking over your questions over the last few weeks and praying about some of the answers, and I'm really excited to share some of these answers with you guys. It's so fun to talk about my favorite season and traditions that I used to have as a kid or growing up, and then also share my heart for certain topics or subjects as we're moving through the season. So thank you to everyone who sent me questions over on Instagram. You can follow me over there at Natalie Bennett Vlogs. I post very often, and I do little mini daily vlogs over on my Instagram stories. So follow me over there, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna hop into this. Rigney K says, what are you most looking forward to this fall season? There is so much to look forward to during the fall season. This one specifically, I'm really looking forward to not being a nursing mom, really enjoying not being in the baby stage. The baby stage and holidays are difficult sometimes, just because of lack of sleep or being a breastfeeding mom and having to plan outfits around what I can nurse in and what I can't, especially when there's a lot of bundling up going on. And I do consider the fall season to be pretty much the start of the holiday season, because we have so much to look forward to, especially in October or November. We do a lot of pumpkin patches, we've gone apple picking, we get together with family and friends, we have little craft time, and my kids really enjoy just really getting immersed into the fall season. And I feel like that only gets better and better as they've gotten older. And now Haley, being 2 years old versus last year or the year before, she's just much more aware of her surroundings and of the fact that we are in a new season, versus what we just experienced in the summertime. So it's really awesome to be able to see the world through her eyes and to bring her through the season basically for the first time in her awareness, if that makes sense. And the boys really enjoy that too, because they do remember seasons past, back when we've enjoyed fall time together as a family, and so they know what they're looking forward to, and that's pretty fun as well. What will the kids be dressing up as for the Harvest Festival this year? Should I tell you guys? Okay, I'll tell you guys. This year they are going to be SpongeBob, Patrick, and I think Haley is going to be Plankton or Sandy. I want her to enjoy the costume that she's in. So my choice for costume for Haley would be to be Plankton, because that would be hilarious. The small little minion always plotting against the bigger people in her life. It would just fit so well, but she might prefer to be Sandy because she really likes that character in SpongeBob. So that's the tentative plan for this year. We'll see how that develops and what it turns into. I am on the hunt for some inexpensive SpongeBob costumes. I might have to make part of it myself, and I'm not very crafty, so we'll see. We will see what happens, but that's the plan for now. Do you have a favorite fall memory or tradition from when you were growing up? Yeah, so I'm gonna try not to get fall tradition memories confused with holiday traditions and memories, because fall time lasts until just a couple of days before Christmas. So I'm gonna do anything before Thanksgiving, let's just put it that way. And hands down, my favorite fall tradition was what we would do on Halloween night, or around that day. Growing up, we were allowed to dress in costumes, and we would attend a church harvest party, little fun fair that they had, where we would learn about how much Jesus loves us, and we'd spend time with our church friends and people from the community. My grandma and grandpa actually, they went to the same church that we did. This is way back in the day when I was really little. And they would have their own little game booth, where the game was to catapult little stuffed animal frogs into a kiddie pool. And it was the frog pond game. There was cakewalks, there was you could shoot hoops, all sorts of fun little things to do. But my favorite was to visit my grandma and grandpa's little booth that they had. It was very, very sweet. And they would always give out candy. My grandpa wore this green hat that had like these frog eyes on it. And literally up until last year, and if you guys might know, my grandpa actually passed away just a few days after Christmas this last year. Up until his very last year with us, he was at his church doing his little frog pond thing for the kids. The kids loved him so much. And we'd visit, do the little harvest party thing. Maybe we'd go around our neighborhood with our mom and dad and visit our neighbors. That's what some people might call trick-or-treating. And then we would all come home. My grandparents would meet us at my mom and dad's house. My mom would make roasted pumpkin seeds that we got out of the pumpkins that we had carved either earlier that day or earlier in the week. And we would have little brownies, little treats. My mom always made these hard-boiled eggs that we would eat while we would watch The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. We also watched The Tale of Mr. Toad. And at one point in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod eats a really spicy deviled egg. And so whenever we watched that as kids, we're like, Mom, can you make us deviled eggs? And so it just became a tradition. She would always make the deviled eggs. And we would just spend time as a family watching a little bit of a spooky movie and cuddling together and laughing. And we know all the lines. I could literally recite the whole video, the whole movie in my head, and I could just hear Bing Crosby's voice. And to this day, we still do the same thing. And it's so much fun. We love spending time together as a family. Any excuse to get together, we love it. And my siblings and their husbands and their kids, we all get together, and it's just a wonderful time. And we're definitely going to miss my grandpa this year. It's going to be the first time that he's not actually with us for this tradition that we have done since I was a very little girl, and I'm gonna try to not get too emotional about it, but we definitely miss him. But that is my favorite, hands down. That is my favorite memory from the fall time, my favorite tradition that we've done, and something that we still do even with our kids now. What is your favorite fall scent? I love anything with cinnamon in it. I just feel like it infuses my house with the smell of the fall time, and it kind of just like gets me excited for the holiday season coming up. I also like cinnamon for the holiday season as well. But yeah, anything with cinnamon, so like cinnamon apple, cinnamon pumpkin, anything like that. Very yummy. Are you going to do a fall coffee video again? So this question was asked back a few weeks ago, and within that time between then and now, I have made my latest fall coffee recipes video. I'm very proud of it, and you guys have been loving it too, which it's been so fun to go on Instagram and see you tag me in your stories of when you've recreated my fall drinks. So if you missed that video, it's linked in the description box. I have 3 amazing coffee recipes, if I do say so myself. They are so yummy. They're actually quite easy to put together, and they're a bit healthier than what you could find at like Starbucks or something. So a bit healthier of alternatives to some really yummy drinks. Do you prefer a warm summer rain or a cool autumn storm? Cool autumn storm. I don't even have to think about that for very long, like at all. Cool autumn storm. I don't like rain in the summertime, because I don't like it when it's hot and wet at the same time. Cold rain in the autumn, it's the best. It's just, I love storms so much. Actually, on my Instagram, I shared that we recently had a big thunderstorm, thunder and lightning, and Haley and I were laying in my bed with the window open, just watching it, and it was so thrilling and so cool. And then the hail started falling down, and it reminded me that my mom named my sister Christina. Her middle name is Haley, and she decided to spell it Hailey, which wasn't the most popular spelling back in the 90s, because my mom loves hail and she loves a good storm. And so when I named Haley, I decided to keep the same spelling because I love a good storm too, and I love my sister Christina, and it was really fun to be able to spend that little moment with Haley in my bed watching the hailstorm and the lightning and the thunder, and a good autumn storm. Oh, there's nothing better. Does the rest of the family enjoy fall as much as you do? So by the rest of the family, I'm assuming you mean my husband and my children. And I would say yes. Me and the kids, we enjoy it more than Weston does. He works primarily an outdoor job, although he is inside for a lot of the work that he does. So when it does get pretty chilly outside and really rainy, it can get pretty miserable for him, but he does enjoy coming home to a cozy house that's nice and warm and like the foods of the season, so he does definitely enjoy it. But my kids, especially my boys, and especially in this last year, they got so hyped up over fall starting that it was just absolutely precious to watch. They were so excited to see the leaves changing on the trees. And when we would start to get rain outside after it being really hot in the summer, they were like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, it's raining. Look, it's raining." And they were so excited about it, just like I would be. So I definitely think that they've gleaned that sort of attitude about the fall from me, because I get hyped up and I get so excited. I am not a warm weather sunny girl. I love it when it's dark outside during the day. I don't know what it is. For as cheerful of a person as I am, I really do like the dark and gloomy sort of moody weather, and my boys do too. And they love blankets, they love coziness, they love soups. And I don't know, I love that they are so into it like I am. And just today I was dropping them off at pre-K and it's now October. And they're like, "Mom, it's October. That means we get to go to the pumpkin patch this month. That means we get to go do the hay rides." And they're just really looking forward to a lot. So that's pretty fun. Okay, so the next question I want to answer for you guys deals with our views on Halloween. And I get a little nervous talking about this because I fall somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. And I actually fall somewhere in the middle of the spectrum for a lot of things in my life. And whenever I share what I believe, what my views are, what our own personal opinions or convictions are, I pretty much alienate people on either side of the spectrum, or they feel like they're being attacked or alienated. But that's not my desire. My desire is just to share what I think without passing judgment on anyone else or condemning anyone who feels differently on either side of the spectrum. If you guys don't know it already, I hope you do know it, because I really do want this to be a big part of my life and what I speak about. But we are Christians. My husband and I were actually both raised in Christian families as well. So our parents, our children's grandparents, are also Christians. For our family, we use Halloween, and this is actually the attitude and the approach that my parents had, and I believe Weston's parents were very similar in this when we were growing up. Halloween for us is an opportunity for us to spend more time as a family, to have our kids dress up in fun costumes that they dress up in every other day, because my kids are obsessed with playing dress up and putting costumes on. They do it every day, whether it's Halloween or not. And going to our church, being a part of our community, serving the community, the kids that come in to play the different games that we have around the church. We've done a trunk or treat before, where the people in our church will set up the back of their vehicles to have kind of like a Halloween costume. There's a different theme. Someone did a Mariners baseball theme. There was a Moana theme. We've had all sorts of stuff. They put lights on it. I mean, some people just go to town and they like deck out the back of their cars, and they hand out candy to the little kids coming by. They hand out Bible tracts. They witness to the families that are there, and they spread the light of Christ. So if my kids love to dress up every other day of the year, but on October 31st, I told them that they weren't allowed to because we don't want to participate in anything that has to do with Halloween, then I think that I would be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, in a sense. We are told in Matthew to not hide our light under a bushel. In fact, let me find that verse for you. I knew it was in Matthew. Matthew 5:15 says, "No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father." And that verse, 2 verses, that's Matthew 5:15 through 16, that sums up our whole attitude surrounding Halloween. We don't have to participate in the things that we disagree with to still have a wonderful time as a family and to let our light shine before those in our community. Weston and I completely without reservation feel that if we stayed home and sheltered our family and hid in our home from anything happening on Halloween night, that we would essentially, like Matthew says, be hiding our light under a bushel, when in fact we could take that night as an opportunity to minister to the community around us, to spend time with our family, enjoying deviled eggs and roasted pumpkin seeds and seeing our kids' cute costumes that they have on, and ultimately shining that light to the people around us, whether it is our family, our close friends, or the people in the community who may not know Jesus. And had our church chosen to hide their light, like as a church, and close their doors and not host anything for Halloween, there are several people who would not have come to know the light of Christ. And actually, Weston is one of those kiddos who on Halloween night put on his little cowboy costume, and his parents took him to a church harvest party, and on that night, he gave his life to Jesus. He asked Jesus to come into his heart. And the rest is history. Things may have gone very differently if Weston didn't have that encounter with the Lord on that night. And it just so happened to be on Halloween. I just think that's so cool. It's very dear to my heart. The holiday for us isn't celebrating the origins of Halloween. The holiday for us is just an excuse to spend time as a family, go to the harvest party, eat too much candy, dress up in silly costumes, and shine our light before men so that we may glorify our Father in heaven. Now again, if you feel differently, that is your prerogative. You receive no judgment from me. Everyone has to act upon their own convictions. I have Christian friends who have all sorts of skeletons and ghoulish things. They let their kids dress up in scary costumes. They watch all the scary movies. That's just not for me. The conviction on my heart is that that would not be a good choice for our family. And then there are other Christian friends of mine who will not have any part of Halloween. They won't even carve pumpkins and put them on their porch. They won't even let their kids say the words trick or treat. No costumes, no candy, nothing like that. They won't even attend like the church harvest parties. And I respect that as well. Even though we disagree and even though we don't make the same choices, we can still all be friends, right? It's one of our favorite days that we look forward to. And after Halloween is over, it's so fun to be able to really look forward to the holiday season starting. And I feel like November 1st through Christmas is such a wonderful time of the year, and to be able to kick it off by spending time together as a family is wonderful. It's the best way that could happen. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, hearing some answers to the questions that you guys had for me. And if you have any thoughts, I'm sure you do, because whenever I talk about this, it does definitely spark some debate. If you could leave your kind and gracious comments to each other and to me in the comment section, I would love to read those and talk with you guys and reply. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are. Thank you so much for spending a little part of your day here with me over on my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and be sure to turn your bell button on so you don't miss my newest videos coming out. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you later.
Let there be rain, and there was rain. Let there be rain, and there was rain. Everything free. Let there be
trick or treat!
Oh,
We want some candy.
Oh, I guess.
I want some
They
candy.
didn't stay long enough for me to get them focused.
Candy.